Living in darkness is hard, but what's truly terrifying is what you see when the light returns. I'm James, 42 years old. For 20 years I lived blind. My eyes had forgotten the world, but my heart always saw my family. My wife Sarah, my daughter Lily, and my son Ethan. In Sacramento, I memorized every creak of our hardwood floors, the hiss of the coffee maker, the laughter of my children. Life was confined to touch and sound, but it was enough, until last month when a miracle happened. An experimental treatment at a Sacramento clinic restored my sight. Colors, lights, faces. It was like waking into a dream. I wanted to weep with joy, but I chose to keep this secret. Why? I don't know. Maybe I wanted to feel everything anew. Or maybe I wanted to be a James no one else knew. Sarah didn't notice the change. I moved through our home as always, with my cane in familiar steps, cautiously. But now I saw everything. The frayed edges of our curtains, the faded paint stains on the walls, the grime on the carpet. These details revealed a different face of the home I'd touched for years. My curiosity grew. I began watching Sarah's routines. Her soft humming while cooking, her quiet calm while folding laundry. Everything felt familiar, yet strangely foreign. I sensed something off in her movements, as if she were hiding something from me. One morning, Sarah froze mid-conversation on the phone in the kitchen. She glanced at me and said, "It's urgent," her voice trembling. I caught the word, confidentiality, but the rest was a whisper. Her eyes were restless, her hands gripping the table tightly. A seed of doubt sprouted within me. What was Sarah hiding? When she hung up, she smiled, but that smile was hollow. My heart tightened. Something was wrong. That day, I decided to follow her. I grabbed my cane, softly closed the door, and trailed her a few steps behind. Through Sacramento's quiet streets, she went to the grocery store, the post office, a friend's house. Everything seemed normal, but my unease grew. Sarah kept looking over her shoulder, as if someone were watching her. In the shadows, under Sacramento's gray sky, I searched for the truth. When she returned home, I asked nothing, but my eyes now tracked her every move. Her tense expression, the tremble in her hands, her frequent glances at her phone. They haunted me. Was this just suspicion, or had I been blind to a truth all these years? Sarah's strange phone call ignited a spark of suspicion within me. My first attempt to follow her revealed nothing unusual, but my eyes now caught every detail. The way Sarah sipped her coffee slowly, the tension in her fingers, her long phone conversations, her restless glances. These were changes I hadn't noticed when I was blind. In the gray mornings of Sacramento, our kitchen felt like a stage for a mystery. One evening, she was whispering in the kitchen again. "Urgent," she said. "No one can know." She left the room without looking at me, her steps hurried. My heart pounded. What was she hiding? The next day, I followed her again. She went to Riverfront Park, one of Sacramento's quiet green spaces. There she met a man in a hooded jacket. Sarah handed him a thick envelope. He muttered something briefly and left. Sarah's steps were heavy, as if carrying a burden. I crept closer to hear them, but their voices were muffled. I crouched behind a bench, my heart thumping in my ears. The man's hands gestured animatedly. Sarah nodded nervously. When their conversation ended, he slipped the envelope into his pocket and vanished. Sarah took a deep breath and headed home. In the park, I tried to make sense of what I'd seen. Sacramento's cool air clung to my skin. Was this a deal, a secret, or something worse? When we returned home, Sarah acted as if nothing had happened, but I saw the unease in her eyes. That night, while she slept, I slipped into her office. I rifled through her desk, files, documents, unfamiliar names, strange symbols. I found a bank statement. An account in Sarah's name held large, regular deposits I knew nothing about. Where was this money coming from? I grabbed her phone, but it was locked. In a notebook, I saw cryptic words: meeting, secret, payment. They were pieces of a puzzle in my mind. Sarah's office, the quietest corner of our home, now felt like a vault of secrets. In Sacramento's silent night, as I pored over the documents, my heart swelled with fear and curiosity. Every paper, every word, pulled me deeper into darkness. I had to uncover what Sarah was hiding, but this search was fueling my fear. Returning home under the flickering streetlights, I felt alone with my own shadow. Sarah's face lingered in my mind like a ghost, her secrets haunting me. Sarah's secret meeting and the unexplained money in her bank account had shattered my trust. The documents I found in her office only raised more questions. Unfamiliar names, cryptic codes, large sums. What was Sarah hiding? One evening, as Sacramento's dim twilight filtered into our kitchen, I gathered my courage. "You've been out a lot lately," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Is everything okay?" Sarah set her fork down, her eyes narrowing. "Just work," she said, but her voice quivered. "Who are you calling so late at night?" I pressed. "Family matters," she deflected. Her answers felt like lies. My anger flared, but I stayed calm, noting the unease in her eyes. Sarah grew stranger by the day. She hid her phone, double-checked the locks. One night she got a late call. She whispered into the phone and left the house. I followed her. She went to a dilapidated building in a remote corner of Sacramento, its crumbling bricks and dark windows looming ominously. She entered with tense steps. Hours passed, but she didn't come out. I waited in the shadows, my heart heavy with fear. Sacramento's cold air seeped into my bones. What was Sarah doing there? I peered at the building's windows, but the darkness hid everything. When she returned home, her face was pale, her eyes red. "Where were you?" I asked, my voice trembling. "At a friend's," she said, her gaze avoiding mine. That night, while she slept, I crept into her office again. I found a notebook filled with Sarah's handwriting, cryptic messages and meeting locations. One sentence stopped my heart. The truth about James. What did it mean? What was she hiding about me? I searched the notebook for more clues, but each word only deepened my confusion. In Sacramento's quiet night, our home's walls seemed laden with secrets. Sarah's deception had turned our marriage into a shadow of itself, and I was lost in its darkness. The sentence in Sarah's notebook, "The truth about James," gnawed at my mind. What did she know? To unravel this mystery, I hired a private investigator. His name was Tom, an older man with a sharp mind. We met in a Sacramento cafe, where a flickering neon sign cast an eerie glow. I told him about Sarah's strange calls, her secret meetings, and the unexplained money in her account. Tom took notes, his brow furrowed, and said, "I'll look into it." A week later, Tom returned with a report. Photos, bank records. Sarah was meeting strangers, handing over envelopes. Her account showed regular large deposits. Tom's expression was grim. "This looks like something illegal," he said. I was stunned. Was Sarah caught up in a crime? My mind raced with worst-case scenarios. Back home, under Sacramento's gray clouds, I couldn't look at Sarah. Our meals were silent, our conversations tense. Every move she made felt like a lie. One night, I began recording her phone calls in secret. I placed tiny cameras in the corners of our home. The recordings were filled with cryptic messages and meetings. Sarah said to someone, "James can't know." My heart broke. This was more than betrayal. One evening, I found an old family album in Sarah's closet. It held photos of unfamiliar faces and places. But one image froze my blood. Sarah smiling next to a man who looked exactly like me, taken in a Sacramento park I didn't recall. Who was he? I held the photo, but answers eluded me. My mind questioned my own memories. Had I forgotten something from my past? Sarah's secrets were making me doubt even myself, and Sacramento's looming shadows only deepened my unease. Sarah's secrets had turned my world upside down. The photo of her with a man who looked like me haunted my thoughts. My health began to deteriorate. Headaches and dizziness plagued me, worsened by Sacramento's damp air. Sarah urged, "Go to a doctor," but I refused. I couldn't let her know about my restored sight. I had to uncover the truth. One night, Sarah left for another meeting. I followed her to a Sacramento park where she met the same hooded man. Gathering my courage, I approached him. "What's your business with Sarah?" I demanded, my voice firm but desperate. He looked startled. "You don't know what you're getting into," he said. "You're closer to the truth than you think, but some things are better left hidden." He walked away, his words searing into me. Back home, I confronted Sarah. I laid out the photos, recordings, and bank statements on the table. "What's going on?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. Sarah's eyes widened in shock, then blazed with anger. "How dare you go through my things?" she shouted. "You don't trust me." She broke into tears, but offered no explanation. "Tell me what you're hiding," I pressed. "I can't," she whispered. In that moment, I felt our marriage dissolve. Sacramento's night silence turned our home into a battlefield. That night, while Sarah slept, I entered her office one last time. Behind her closet, I found a dusty, worn journal. I opened it and read. The first lines shattered my world. Sarah had been living a lie for years. I wasn't the real James. The real James had vanished years ago. Sarah was paid to maintain this illusion. I was a copy. As I read, my hands shook and my mind reeled. Sacramento's dark sky seeped through the window, mocking my fractured reality. Sarah's journal turned my existence into a lie. I wasn't the real James. I was a copy of a man who vanished years ago. Sarah had been paid to sustain this illusion. Every moment, every ounce of love, was a fabricated game. I clutched the journal to my chest as the room spun. In Sacramento's morning stillness, our home's walls seemed to buckle under the weight of this secret. That morning, I left the journal on the kitchen table. Lily and Ethan found it. Their faces paled as they read the pages.
"Dad, what is this?"
Lily asked, her voice trembling. I couldn't answer. Ethan grabbed the phone and called 911.
"My mom lied about my dad,"
he told the operator. As sirens approached, I stood frozen. The police arrived, examining the journal and documents. Sarah stood in the corner, trembling with fear. The kids clung to each other, tears streaming down their faces. They took me to the station. There I recounted everything, regaining my sight, Sarah's secrets, the journal. The police investigated the real James's disappearance. Old files and new evidence revealed he was a victim of an illegal operation. Sarah, caught between fear and loyalty, had perpetuated the lie. In Sacramento's police station, under harsh neon lights, I faced the cold truth. Closure came, but it didn't ease my pain. Sarah was found guilty, but the real punishment was the devastation in my children's eyes. What was I? A man or a copy? Lily and Ethan still call me Dad, but I can't find myself. In Sacramento's streets, I search for the man I once was. The real James may never have existed, but I live on in his shadow, haunted by a truth that broke everything.